Real men, real masculine men are taught to bottle everything up. Anything negative going on in your life, the daily grind, the daily beatdown. When we go out into the world, whether you're a blue collar worker, a white collar worker, whether you work in tech, whether you're a construction worker, it doesn't matter. We are taught that the world is going to beat us up. They are going to grind us down, and that we're supposed to bottle that up, build up a wall, build up a fence, and don't let it out. Don't let the world know what's going on with you. Number one, it's supposed to be attractive to the opposite sex because you're a man of mystery. But the main reason why is because the red pill community specifically wants you to take that energy and express it by going to the gym and going and getting that sexy body, or getting a business off the ground, or getting your money right, or getting your career on track. Well, those are all in a way positive things to do with that negative energy. What most people don't talk about is what a man really needs. Real masculine men need a couple of things in order to do that. And this doesn't have anything to do with marriage. This doesn't have anything to do with, women or men, gay, heterosexual. It has nothing to do with that. These are just three basic outlets. And really what I'm talking to is I'm talking to the young men out there that hear the Andrew Tates and hear the Fresh and Fit podcast and hear the Whatever podcast and hear the Feminist podcast and hear this podcast. Remember that most people in general that speak on the internet speak because they want fame, fortune, or attention. They don't necessarily have you in their best mind or in their best intention. And a lot of times, especially in the red pill community, it's the whole thing, gotcha, bitch. I mean, that's the whole scenario. So the first thing you really need to find for yourself is an outlet. And I'll give you an example. My outlet personally is actually doing YouTube videos. That's when everything boils down to it. The podcast for the RV industry that I do, the filming I do, the marketing I do, even though it is a part of my job, it's probably the part of my job that I enjoy the most. Yeah, there's times where I bitch and I gripe and I get all pain in the assy about things. And sometimes I get up on my high horse and think I'm above everybody else. I know I come off that way sometimes. But it's my favorite part. I don't go every day wondering when I'm going to hit 1 million subscribers, when I'm going to become famous. I never will be. I just enjoy the education. I enjoy making videos for people so that way they're educated about the RV industry, about the RV business. Because there's too many swings of negative, positive, negative, positive. Nobody gets the down the middle thing. So find an outlet. And don't make it video games all the time, right? Don't make it video games. Because video games aren't an outlet that should be done daily as an outlet. Okay? They should be used sparingly. They should be used more as an activity of fun with your friends, not an outlet to go bury yourself in. Because that's what creates a lot of this. A lot of young men that I have talked to over the last 4 or 5 years, they bury themselves in video games to try to escape the world, and all it does is create loneliness and depression. And it's supposed to be the opposite. Video games, because I love playing video games. I haven't played video games in a year because of certain situations, but I love video games. But I never used it as an outlet to escape the world, because when I did, and I did at a certain point in my life, I noticed my life spiraled out of control. Find something else besides video games. Maybe it's something to do with music. Maybe it has something to do with reading. Something of that nature. Something that takes all that negativity, isn't going to the gym, isn't doing a grinding thing, just a moment to yourself. The second thing is we have to realize that it's never going away. So we need to find a way to not worry about what everyone else is doing and only worry about what we're doing. And that's my biggest mistake in life. My biggest mistake in life has been that I get too attached to people. Okay? There comes a time in my life and a time in most men's life, good masculine men. We're not talking about toxic men. We're not talking about feminine men. We're not talking about beta males or anything like that. I'm just talking about the regular good man needs to focus in on himself, his health, his mental health, his physical health. You need to check in with yourself and focus in on what's going on with you. Because if you're not right with yourself, and I try to tell young men this, don't depend on somebody else for your happiness. Be happy by yourself. If you're happy by yourself, if you're happy with yourself, if when you go to bed at night, you have a smile on your face because no matter where you're at, you know you're going towards somewhere, and you're happy going hiking on your own, you're happy going fishing on your own, you're happy doing the nightclub thing or whatever your thing is, you're so happy going home alone because you're happy by yourself. When you reach that enlightenment in your life, you start to actually look at other people differently. You start watching the reactions and actions of other people and stop listening to their words. People in general will tell you what you want to hear to keep you around. Doesn't matter if it's your best guy friend, your best gal pal. Doesn't matter if it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a spouse. It doesn't matter what it is. Most people speak to you to try to make things better and avoid conflict and avoid you leaving. You need to pay attention to their actions. You need to pay attention to what's going on with other people. And that's the third thing. Don't worry about what they say. I've been told by so many people in my life that I'll never leave you. I'm your ride or die. I'll love you to death do us part. I'll love you forever. I love you so much. I've been told that by so many people. Family, friends, girlfriends, wife. I've been told that my whole life. And up until 3 years ago, I would take people at their word. But then I never paid attention to their actions. Just pay attention to the actions of people. That's the third thing you really need as a young man to really, to be a good man, is when you see their actions are the opposite of their words, don't say anything. Just quietly walk away. Quietly go and find somewhere else to be, something else to do. Because when you confront people, when you go out and tell people, oh, I'm going to point this out to you and communicate this to you, they're just going to keep spewing out no accountability. And it's human nature in general. They don't want to admit that there's a problem. They don't want to admit that they're doing something wrong. They don't want to look inwardly and understand, oh crap, I told this man I'm so deeply in love with him, but yet I haven't seen him for 12 weeks. Or a best friend who says, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so busy, I'm too busy to talk to you over the phone to check in on you, yet I check in with everybody else. So that's it. And those are just generic examples. And if you pay attention to that, you'll never be lonely, you'll never be depressed, and you'll always be heading in the right direction. Just don't let them get you down. Stay up, my man.